Hello, and welcome to The Lost World. Let's check it out. Setup for this game is not so easy. You gotta construct all these little fold out little things and put them everywhere. This will only take you about 4 hours. I'm kind of kidding, kind of not there. Anyway, you'll have your buildings. The game will tell you where to set it up. For instance, it'll have the little number B, and then of course this has the number B by it. So you basically know where to set everything up once you put all these little cardboard cutouts together. You also have your helipad over here. All your human pawns will start here. One player will play as all 12 humans, and one player will play as the raptor and the T-Rex. As you see, these are the same molds from the first game that came out, the Jurassic Park game. T-Rex will start right here. Raptors will start here. There's little emblems, raptor emblems there that will show you where they start. There are certain areas in the game where they cannot go into. First off, they can't enter the helipad, and for some reason it says here, here, and here it can't go, even though those don't seem like spaces in the game, but maybe they are. But anyway, it says raptors are not allowed in those spaces, and of course they cannot go here. Now as a human, you're going to have these two little die, and what you're doing is you're one by one trying to move your pawns out of this main center and trying to shuffle them across the board, either outside, around the buildings, behind the buildings, on top of the buildings, just to get 3 of your 12 pawns to that helipad. As a raptor, of course, you're trying to eat all of them, at least 10 of them, so they can't do that. But how a regular turn is going to go is a player is going to roll these 2 die. One has the numbers 2 through 4 and the word jump on it. And then it has this other die that is basically 3 stops and 3 goes. So what you do is I'd roll the die, and I could move 1 pawn 4 spaces, and after that I stop and end my turn. Now if that was a go, that would mean I get to go again after that turn. So you can have many turns over and over again as long as you're rolling a go. But once you roll the stop, that is going to be the end of your turn. So in this case, I would go 1, there's an arrow there that shows me where to go, 2, 3, and as you see there are diamonds on the board here. What those diamonds represent is you can enter and exit buildings through the diamonds, okay? Now, raptors can't enter that way. They have to enter through the little, I see the little bang, little explosion you see on some of these buildings. That's the only way they can enter, and we'll talk about that, how they do that in a minute. But anyway, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I could be inside of that building like so. Now as you see, this building has the word jump on it. There's another building here that has the word land. I think you know where this is going. So later on in the game, if I were to roll a jump, then I could jump this pawn, if he was still here, over to this building here. He would land there. As you see, you can do the same thing here. You can jump from here and land over there. Now, one thing you can't do, you cannot split up your movement. So if I rolled a 3, I couldn't go 1, 2, and then bring another one down for 3. I have to move 1 the full spaces. Now, the only exception against that rule is once I move into the building or in a safety space, my movement ends. I don't have to move anymore. And even to get into the safety space, as you see, there are 3 little diamond shapes here where you can enter in. I couldn't enter in this way. I can enter in through here, here, or here, and to, I guess this is some wreckage that maybe the raptors don't want to go into. But anyway, once the human player gets a stop, then they must put down their die, and now it's the raptor's turn. The raptor has the same dice here. They have the stop go die, and then of course they have a 1, 2, as you see there, or an enter. As you know, enters are right there. Now, if I was to roll this, I got a 1 and a stop, so I would roll 1. Now, as you see, humans go in the little circles, but if you look at the little board, they have these little outlines here, and that's how the raptors travel. So they can actually travel a little bit faster than humans. So he moves 1, and he moves all the way to that next area. And that's how you're going to move them. Now, the only way they can enter a building is if they were on a space next to the bang. So if they were right there and you had an enter die, then you could put them in there, and whatever humans were in that building, the raptor would automatically kill them all. So if I had, you can have more than one human in a building. If I had more than one human in a building, I had a raptor right there, I would probably, in all haste, want to get out either here or here outside of that building and run for my dear life. Because if not, that raptor will eat me. But there is another threat in this game. It is the T-Rex, the mighty T-Rex here. You're also, as the dinosaur player, you're going to roll one of these dinosaur dice here. As you see, the dinosaur doesn't move, or the T-Rex moves 1. And that's what you have on the board, 3 1s and 3 not moves. And so you'll be rolling this one, and if it rolls up as a 1, you're going to move the T-Rex 1 space. Now, why is that important? As you see, there are 10 spaces here. As this player is moving, if they focus too much on just certain players that are out and they leave these players in here, if they wait too long and it gets down to the 1, then that T-Rex just ate everyone who was remaining in that building. So it's imperative for the human player, or the team playing the humans, if you want to play 2 on 2, to move as many players out of the temple as fast as they can before that dinosaur, that T-Rex, comes, which could happen as soon as 10 rounds in the game. Now, the play will go back and forth until, like I said, one of those things happen. You'll be rolling these die, and if it says go, you'll be going again. Once it says stop, your turn is over. A few movement rules, though. No 2 pawns can be on the same circle. They can be in the same building, but if I moved here, he couldn't be there. He can pass through another human, but he can't land on the same space as a human. Now, for raptors, it's a little bit different. They can't even pass through a space with another raptor. So if I wanted to get, let's say there's a human there, and I rolled a 2, and I, for some reason, wanted to move him, I couldn't move him around that. He'd have to go around that raptor. He couldn't go through the raptor there. So those are some movement rules here. They also, for the helicopter, they even gave you a little stand for this. The game comes with plenty of stands in the game. There's no purpose for the helicopter to be here, or even the helicopter to be a little piece in the game, but it is. And that is Lost World. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, of course, they had to come out with a board game to the movie, right? Because they did the last time, they thought they'd do it again. They reused, recycled those pieces from the Raptors and the T-Rex. I don't mind that. I do like how, I mean, man, those little paper cardboard things are so impossible to put together. My wife, thankfully, could do all of that, and she does it really well. But it would have taken me a day and a half probably to put that stuff together. That was kind of annoying. It can fit all in one box, but you really got to work on it. And some of my little houses, you saw the roofs were a little, squished. And that's because there's just, once you put it together, there's not enough room for it all in one box. So that's kind of disappointing too. I do like the T-Rex die. That's one thing I do like. I like how that T-Rex is slowly coming. It's like, the ripples in the water cup every time you roll 1, and he's getting closer. And that's a great mechanism if you think about it, because usually a player would probably just use the same. If they had to go dice over and over again, you can move one player really far across the board. But if you move them 1 at a time, there's 12 people. That's 12 turns for you to move everyone out. Well, of course, there's 10 turns if it happens, if the T-Rex gets it. He's probably going to get some people in the temple. Now, the times we played, he hasn't yet, but that's because whoever's playing the humans is like, oh my gosh, I got to get as many people out as I can. That's a smart mechanism. I like that. Instead of just using a few at a time, which is probably what players would do, they had a mechanism to say, hey, if you don't move these guys, the T-Rex is going to get you. Now, what's sad is, if you do move everyone out, then there's no point in rolling the T-Rex die. That's all the T-Rex is for. I do like how they eat humans now, how unlike Jurassic Park, the first board game, they didn't. It's almost like they heard the biggest complaint from people in the first board game, even though I know Milton Bradley didn't think about that. They were just thinking about the money, but maybe someone said, hey, what was not fun is that no one gets eaten in the first game, so now let's have people get eaten. Well, they kind of sway it a little too much into the dinosaurs' favor. In fact, just about every time except for once that we played, the Raptors have won. The Raptors are just way too powerful in the game. The only time that I did win playing the humans was when my wife made a mistake and she didn't see a human piece right next to a raptor, and so she passed it by and didn't eat it. And that got my third guy to the helipad. You maybe get one or two, and usually in a lot of games we see people get two in there, and then the raptors kill everyone. I mean, it's just really, really hard to get people to that helipad. So another reason it's not so good. This one you can find super cheap, unlike the first one. This one you can find super cheap online. Is it for you? I don't know, you have to decide. I mean, yeah, the pieces are cool. Maybe you have the less experienced player playing the Raptors, and maybe that evens the field a little bit there, but I don't really know. I really can't recommend the game. Now, of course, again, I got this for my wife as a gift to her because she loves Jurassic Park. We've played it a few times. It is fun, but just about every time, like I told you, the dinosaurs are always going to win. But maybe that's why you should get it. Putting those cardboard houses together, though, horrible, horrible experience. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on!